Hello, welcome to the introductory podcast for Do Now number 5. This is to help people that have trouble getting started. So we're going to do the Do Now number 5 from the ground up, starting with just Photoshop and working our way up. So we're going to start with File, and we're going to go to New. We're going to make a new document here. We're going to do it 800 by 600 pixels, not 800 by 600 inches. Make sure this is pixels. We're going to call this Do Now number 5. And that way at least we have a little bit of a reference. Going to click, remember, 72 resolution, and color mode is RGB. So we hit OK. If you notice, we got a nice blank canvas here, and our background is locked. It's white. We're going to duplicate that and then get rid of the locked background so we have a nicer background. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up the 6 images that we're going to use to complete Do Now number 5. I'm going to use a nice picture of the world's ugliest dog. I happen to think he's adorable, but you can think what you'd like. We click on him, and we just drag him right onto here. And as you can see, we have our first layer there. I'm going to call this layer, we're going to call it Liquify. And you'll see what that means when we get into the second part of this lesson. So let's call it Liquify. There we go. Going to take this, drag it down to duplicate. It's now called Liquify Copy. If I click on the Move command, I'll move it over. We're going to call this one now Neon Glow. Okay. Going to duplicate this. And we'll slide it over here. Nice in line. We'll call this one here Photocopy. These all reference different filters that we're going to put on later, but right now it's just helping label our layers will keep our work organized. Duplicate again, click and drag. We're going to label this layer Smart Blur. We're going to duplicate this layer and drag. There we go. And we're going to call this Wave. And then we're going to take this, duplicate it, and bring it over here. And we're going to call this one Emboss. So now I've got myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers in the foreground, and our background layer here, which is just white. And we're at a good spot. I'm going to make sure I save it just so that we don't lose it. Now it's going to ask what I want to save it as. We've already renamed it. I'm going to save it right here to my desktop. We'll keep it there. It's already there. It exists. So I'm going to replace it. I did that earlier just as a little practice for you. But we're good. We've got our layers labeled. And in the next podcast, I'm going to show you how to apply these different filters. We're going to have some fun with the background. So we've got started now. So if you want to see what's next, tune into the next podcast. We'll see you in just a moment.